But every time I have a young kid come in, I always start with this. Say these couple things to your kids. 1, there's nothing wrong with you.
Oh, I love that.
Every time I say that, kids start to cry. They already think something's wrong with them. So say to your kids, nothing's wrong with you. Say to your kids, there's nothing you can do to make me love you less.
Mm-hmm.
Say it all the time.
Yeah.
Let them know. I want you to be who you are, not who I think you should be.
Yeah. A little funny. Hi, it's Tiffany Lorraine Galloway, certified high performance coach and now certified personal trainer with another episode of the Resilient Mother podcast. So I have another great friend from personal development realm, Growth Day Ultra. I've got Rebeccah Silence here, who I've just fallen in love with, and I cannot wait to share her with you today. Rebeccah, thank you for being here. Please tell us more about you and what you do.
Well, Tiffany, thank you for your work. Thank you for having me. Thank you for this show. I am the space where all healing is possible. I created what I call the practice of emotional healing as a trained therapist and master multi-certified coach. I've been helping people heal since 2002. But my big message for all of us, especially women and mothers, is you are supposed to be joyfully fulfilled. And you can be. And we don't need our role as a leader, as a mom, as a woman to tax us emotionally ever. Like, it really is supposed to be you experiencing so much good day in and day out and loving yourself and loving your life and having an experience of being well loved and well paid and so nourished on a soul level. You deserve that.
And I feel like that really fits into the definition, at least for me, of what resilience is being able, even though with the ups and downs in life, to enjoy life to its fullest and be able to bounce back from things that really we shouldn't be giving our time or energy to faster once we realize they're not serving us. But I'm curious, what does resilience mean for you, if you could define it?
Yeah, well, I'm a cancer survivor. I got diagnosed with cancer when I was 7 months pregnant with my second baby, and I had already been a woman who grew up in domestic violence. My first marriage was domestic violence, and I got out with a 2-year-old and was a single mom for a long time. So, when I was diagnosed with cancer, I would say that's when I met the resilience that is me in a way that was undeniable. It was like, I knew I could land on my feet. I always did, but I didn't know how to own my resilience until cancer. And I was given a 5% chance to live. That was it.
Wow.
And so resilience is, for me, the part of me that's unshakably whole, that can never be threatened. And it's the part of us, right, that just deals with what's in front of us and doesn't argue with it and doesn't resist it and knows we can face, move through, and conquer anything, right? Whether it's our kid making food while we're running a show, or a cancer diagnosis, or we're finding ourselves in debt, or we've put on weight, or, sex isn't working for us the way it used to, or whatever it might be. There's nothing outside of us more powerful than we are. And when we know that, we can't be threatened. And that's resilience to me.
Oh, I love that, because that's really what changed things for me, is understanding that power within, and what drew me to the groups where I met you and other people like you, this like-heartedness of understanding the powers within, and not just that the powers within, like we want to pridefully take that ownership or something, look what I did, but then we want to go, wait, you have the power within you too. I want to help you. I want to help you get the light back in your eyes. I want you to be your fully unique, resilient, full self. And that's what I love about the kind of work that you and I do, where we want to have people see their full potential. I love the saying that I love you the way you are. I'll see you the way you are, but I love you too much to leave you that way. The idea that I can't leave my space with you without making you better and making you feel something more about yourself. And it sounds like that's exactly what you do for mothers in your work. And as a mother yourself as well, and a cancer survivor, I mean, talk about resilience there. And I love how you've made your message, and in a way that you're really validating. You've been there, you've been through the trenches. So somebody can feel like you're not just theoretically giving them advice. Like, you can really say, hey, I've been there. I've had that low, I've had to turn things around, or I've had to face death in the face, and I'm still here. And not only that, I'm thriving. I think that's the key too, because some people can go through those things and the trauma can stick, the emotions can stick, instead of being able to transform through them.
Right.
So, what are some of the tools and the things that you do to help with that transformation that maybe mothers could apply?
Yeah. So I always say there's no trauma you can't use to your advantage. And trauma, I define as heartbreak. And my goal is to leave people better than I find them, to speak to the greatness of them, to help them feel witnessed in their power, in their greatness, even if they're feeling vulnerable, shaky, like they're a mess, right? Because again, nothing outside of us is more powerful than we are. So what I'm doing with my process, the practice of emotional healing, is I'm focusing on what we all have control over all the time. And I teach there's a big difference between thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So a lot of teachers teach that feelings and emotions are the same. And I teach they're very different. And always, I also will suggest we're all bipolar. We have a survival self. We have a healed self. Most of us haven't met our healed self yet. And most of us are surviving our way through our lives, even if it looks great on paper and we're high performing and high achieving. So what I teach is feelings are all about the external. Let's focus on feeling anxious, pressure, overwhelmed, guilty, shameful, abandoned, rejected, over functioning, over responsible, whatever it is. These feelings we learned. We weren't born knowing how to be jealous or embarrassed or anxious or depressed. It was modeled to us. So our feelings are always about the external, and it's always how we're coping. Our emotions are our humanity. So I teach there's only 5: anger, fear, grief, joy, excitement. And the healthier your relationship with anger, fear, and grief is, the more joy and excitement you get to have. So we're all threatened by our emotions because we learned there were certain emotions people could handle, certain emotions people couldn't handle, but they're all human, they're all natural, they're all a part of us. So when we fully express and fully embrace all of our emotions, we get to be free. And that is the point.
I absolutely love that, because I think that's so important to understand from a child development perspective. Because children come into this world, we say, a clean slate and a genius. And so the mother's role is really to help them navigate these things from the very beginning, not when we start seeing problems. And to also make sure they're in environments where we can talk about those things. We saw somebody have a big emotion, or we saw this, or somebody dealt with that, and be able to come to this kind of space. Because if they can learn that at an early age, I think they'd be able to self-regulate better. They'd also be able to know what's in alignment with them and what's not, and to stay their course of who that unique individual that they are. Because something else I'm hearing in the work that you do is the way we get to this place where we feel so alive in our life is to embrace fully who we are as a unique individual and what works for us. And kids seem to kind of innately know that. And then it seems like they get worked out of them. And we as parents, I think, have a huge responsibility today to really preserve that, because that's going to be the difference between the people who are successful and not now. It's those that really understand this is my gift to give to the world, because there are so many ways to now give it, create it as a business and a lifestyle, and be a blessing and have this flow of alignment and wellness and aliveness that you're talking about. Yeah. How do you feel about applying this? Well, first, we also have thoughts. And so we've done feelings and emotions. I'm curious how thoughts work in there. But then I'm curious too, how this might apply for a mom to have the level of awareness of when to embrace their emotions and when to give some guidance.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can't actually give any guidance if we're not emotionally clear first. That's going to be healthy or impactful in the right direction, right? So I'll say that the thoughts are so neutral. So we'll just go back for a second. So just know you have thoughts, you have feelings, you have emotions. And when you catch your thoughts, you get to choose which thoughts you follow and turn the volume up on, and which thoughts, thank you, no, thank you. I'm turning down the volume on this. And no, right? But
do you just feel stuck? It's the new year. You expected some change, but the motivation, the momentum, it's just not there and you can't figure out why. Well, you might want a life coach. Hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm a certified high performance coach and have been for about 3 years now. And I can get people results in small mini coaching sessions. Give me 30 minutes of your time. Let me show you how you can get a breakthrough and transformation by having someone help you see what you can't see and hear what you might not be hearing in your own words and in your own story. You're the author of your story. Let me help you take back your pen and start writing the story you actually want to create, to thrive in your life and feel alive. Text coach to 435-294-5456 or shoot me an email over at resilientmomrising@gmail.com. We've got the solution for you.
the thoughts are the trigger for how you're feeling. Your feelings are your patterns 100% of the time. And the emotion is just your humanity. So the goal is to get to the emotion underneath it all, feel it, release it, free yourself so you can hear your own guidance, Gaia, divine love, intelligence, source, whatever you want to call it. When you're emotionally clear, you hear yourself, you hear guidance, and all you ever need is the next right step. Now, how does this apply for moms? So I have a client who came to me and she had heard me on the radio, and she would say she almost drove off the road when she heard me on the radio because I was saying something about, moms aren't meant to be there for our families, and that's our identity. And she was having an affair and ready to blow up her marriage and her life, and so afraid her kids would hate her, so afraid to break up the family. But she had lost herself, right, in her role of being a mom, and she didn't know who she was outside of that role of being a mom. So for moms, I believe our kids deserve to have healed parents and the best of who we are. And I believe they deserve watching us living out our own dreams outside of being the mom, being the wife, being of service to the family. And I think we can have it all. So this particular client did end up doing some work with me, healing the marriage, transforming her relationship with her kids. And she didn't have to burn it all down, blow it all up to have her life back. She had said to me in our very first session, I just want to go burn it all down and have a little house in the woods and screw all of them. And I hate myself for feeling that way, but that's how I feel. So she took herself back.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing that I want you all to hear. If you're a woman who's a mom, a wife, and resentful, unhappy, exhausted at all, A, you're not alone. But B, chances are you've recreated how family was for you growing up as an adult, and you're sick of it. And it doesn't have to be that way. And there is a way. I live the most amazing love story. It's my favorite part of my life. My second marriage is beyond my wildest dreams come true. And it's healed, and it's healthy, and it's hot, and you can have all three, right? But it's so much different than how I grew up. It's so much different than how my husband grew up. And this isn't about pointing fingers or pointing blame, but we recreate how we experienced love and family until we do the work to emotionally heal and design love, family, motherhood from this healed place as the healed adult.
So I'm curious if you feel like you haven't experienced love, real love in your life because you've become aware of the dysfunctions in your family or the transactional love or the conditional love. How do you start? Do you start with love for yourself and then you attract it? I've heard that before, but I'm curious what your take is on this.
Yes, but here's what that means, because that can really mess with people and really mess with their head, right? So this is the way I teach it, okay? Tiffany and all of you beautiful women. You will never receive love beyond your ability to give love to yourself. So people can try, but you won't receive it beyond how well and how much you love you. So I stay emotionally clear and I love me, so I'm not needy for you to love me, so I know I'm loved. So I'm not looking for evidence that see how not lovable I am, see how much I do, how much I give, and it's never enough and I never get it back. So many, I would guess, in this beautiful audience are not living in a way where you receive back as much as you give to others, but you are receiving back how much you give to you. I can promise you that.
Yeah. Well, and that's so important because the one person you're going to live with your whole life is you. So you better have a good relationship with yourself.
Well, and that's what I say is like, you're the one thing you got for life. So how are you treating you? How are you honoring you? How are you loving you? How are you respecting you? How well are you listening and serving you? And many of you are going to say, well, Rebeccah, I don't want to be arrogant. I don't want to be selfish, right? I've got another client that got divorced, came to me really wanting to get married again. I'm the comeback love story queen. And she was so wanting to rush it and jump right back into another marriage. And what I was saying was, hold on a second, because that doesn't solve the problem. Like, we're not trying to just check a box.
Yeah.
Right. And until you are safe with you and loving you and honoring you, you won't know how to be safe with you, love you, and honor you inside of a marriage. And then here's another thing nobody else is going to tell you, but I will. The relationship is for your soul's evolution. It's there to show you how healed you are and where you're still not healed. It is not meant to be the source of your happiness, and it's not the source of your suffering. It's showing you patterns that haven't healed yet and where you've come so far already.
Yep.
But the relationship is there to show you to you. And to give you a way to see where you could be more for you and for other people. And I think that's a really important way to look at it. So you coming to the table in your relationships with your spouse, with your kids, with your friends, with your family, with those you serve, already cup runneth over, so full, a fully charged battery. That's where we want you. Not drained, exhausted, depleted, hoping they give back to you in a way that will recharge you, because it won't work.
Yes. Well, and it's a disservice to the other person. I can look at that pattern of my own. My parents are narcissists. I attract narcissists. I gave myself away, but I didn't even fully know myself yet. Part of my journey started during COVID. Well, a lot of people had stuff during COVID, but I was in college and I was taking a self-love, self-compassion course by a well-known psychologist. And we kind of did a speed version through it. But at the end, you're supposed to fully be able to love and accept yourself. And I couldn't. And I was confused at first because I'm like, I did all this work. I did the course. I was authentic in doing the course. Well, come to realize I didn't know who I was. I was so used to fawning for outside validation to know I was okay, to know I was acceptable, to know that I had any value, that I realized I had to go back through my life and realize, when was I really being me? And when was I performing for someone, whether it was my family or for the relationship that I was in or for the role that I had? Where is the authenticity in that? And now I feel like coming to that, I have so much more peace. And I feel like I'm in a much better place to be in a relationship because I'm going to be able to put the right boundaries around it. I'm going to be able to know how to show up for somebody else without depleting myself. Without that awareness, there would just be no way to have a true, authentic, loving, real relationship, because there would be some lie in it that was carrying into it that eventually could ruin it, or the lie could carry on. But who wants to live a lie? Nobody wants to live a lie.
Yeah. Well, and who wants to live their life just surviving their way through their lives if that's optional and not a requirement? But we don't even know, right? Like, we create this version of ourselves to survive childhood, and it's nobody's fault. But then we think that's who we are, and
Right.
no, it's not. And then you don't wake up one day and know who you are. You wake up one day and realize you're not fulfilled, and therefore you're surviving somehow. And this idea of like knowing who we are, so much easier said than done. But that really is the game changer of all game changers, right? Like knowing who I am, not who I've been, that's a journey worth taking. And I'll give you 2 hacks real quick.
Okay? Oh, yes.
2 hacks. If you don't know what you want, who you are, okay? What do you want for everybody else that you love? Because that's what you want for you. What you want for them is what you want for you 100% of the time.
Nice.
The other hack is, if you know what you don't want, you know what you want. Guess it the opposite. And it's trial and error sometimes, but you do know what you want. It's just terrifying to own it, but do it anyway, right? And it's not that you couldn't, Tiffany, love yourself fully. You wouldn't. And then you decided you were unwilling not to. And I think that's resilience, right? It's like we're staying committed. We're staying the best of who we are. We're staying the truth of who we are in a way where our character can't be threatened because we know it so well.
Get your resilient fix in 2026 with Coach Tiffany, now a nationally recognized certified personal trainer and also your high performance coach, host of the Resilient Mother podcast. You can now train with her in person or online. Just text TRAIN to 435-294-5456. You can also find her at the Sports Academy in Logan, Utah, or you can email her at resilientmomrising@gmail.com. We'll see you soon, resilient you.
Well, and I think a piece of it too was forgiveness. I had to forgive myself for doing the best that I can and not knowing what I didn't know, because I could get hung up in a lot of things that way. And I think facing yourself in the mirror and not liking what you see and then turning around and forgiving and loving that person takes a lot of courage. And we resist that a lot of the time. We can be in this comfortable zone where things are all right, they're going okay, we can know something's off, but we tolerate it. And then one day we just don't want to tolerate it anymore. But I think forgiveness was a big piece of that for me, because it lifted a weight and made room for more. And without that, I don't think I could have really moved forward. And I find that for other people too. Anytime something helps you release and not hold on to something negative, you're moving in the right direction.
Yeah. And forgiveness, I'll just share how I define it. And I have a book I wrote, Coming Back to Life, a roadmap to heal from pain to create the life you want. And there's a forgiveness chapter. And there are therapists all across the country using my book with their patients, specifically the forgiveness chapter. So here's my definition of forgiveness. Forgiveness is loving yourself as much as you did before you got hurt. And loving as much as you did before you got hurt. One time I had a client and she had been molested by an uncle, and she came to my office and she's like, Rebeccah, he's dead. I'm never going to be able to heal now. He just died. And she thought she needed him so that she could confront him to heal. And that's not how it works. Forgiveness is about loving yourself and seeing yourself as innocent again and opening your heart back up again to love, even though that's scary, because if my heart's open now, I'm putting myself at risk of getting hurt again. That's what we think. But what really hurts us is this armor around our heart, guarding and protecting our heart and shutting down our ability to give and receive love. That's what hurts. So forgiveness opens all that up. Yeah.
Oh, I love that analogy of it, because you build walls, and then there's missed opportunities, missed connections. You're not on the right vibration. And we are love. We are just meant to be love.
It's all about love.
Yeah, absolutely. And anything that can bring us back to it as well. So I thank you for your time. I know you're very busy. You've got workshops going on. You're doing a second edition of your book, you were saying, that you just bought back, which is so cool. And many, many other wonderful, beautiful things in the world. So any last advice as I'm listening to, I want my children to grow up loving themselves. I want my children to grow up understanding that they get to create the life that they want and that they can live in full vibrancy, and they still get to be mom if they want to be mom. They still get to have those dreams. They still get to have those things along the way. But what would help them know, one, for me, make sure I'm keeping them open, letting them explore themselves within safe boundaries, and then encouraging them to be themselves when I really see something that lights them up, where I'm like, that is authentically you. I want you to really understand this is your gift, and you should go out into the world proud of that.
Yeah. Here's what always happens when I work with a child. So in my private practice, I've worked with ages 4 to 104.
Wow.
And I've been helping people heal since 2002. So I've seen it all. But every time I have a young kid come in, I always start with this. Say these couple things to your kids. 1, there's nothing wrong with you.
Oh, I love that.
Every time I say that, kids start to cry. They already think something's wrong with them. So say to your kids, nothing's wrong with you. Say to your kids, there's nothing you can do to make me love you less.
Mm-hmm.
Say it all the time.
Yeah.
Let them know. I want you to be who you are, not who I think you should be.
Yeah.
And check in with them. How are you feeling? What do you need? How are you feeling? What do you need? How are you feeling? What do you need? All the freaking time.
Love that.
And
that's so doable.
That's so doable. And then I was just going to say, and make sure you're paying attention to your reaction, because I see this innocently happen where moms are checking in with their kids and then they have this reaction. So then they're training their kids. I'm going to say, I want to know how you feel and I want to know what you need, but I'm training you. Be careful what you actually tell me, because I'm going to have a reaction. So the more emotionally healed and clear you are, the less threatened you will be by your children's thoughts, feelings, and emotions.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've had my daughter trigger me sometimes, and I didn't even understand my reaction. And then I had to go, okay, we're going to revisit this later. I'm not going to react, but I can feel it here, and that's served very well to just be neutral and to still be open so they can listen and feel safe and be mommy safe space. And then I can go deal with my own stuff separately, because I don't need to drag my child into my stuff and my emotions. Those are mine. They need to be separate.
But you can say, like, I'm having a human moment and I'm going to process it, right? Like, we also don't have to be like all strong and stoic and have it all together. Like, I am very vulnerable and real, unapologetically. And so it is okay as a parent that we're vulnerable and real and human, and we model the beginning, middle, and end of whatever trigger, breakdown, issue we're having, letting the kids know we're going to get through this. We're going to figure it out. It's okay. If they see you in a conflict with your spouse, let them know this is human. This is normal. We're going to get through it. And this is all resilience, right?
Absolutely.
Our resilience carries us through. So I would just say, be careful with each other's hearts, but especially with your own.
Yes, absolutely. Because then you're that example of how to live and how to thrive. And they're going to model that more than anything you say. They're going to see what you do and they're going to follow it, but also what you make them feel. And so that energy and the emotions that you bring into the conversations really need to be intentional and have love as the foundation. Because when love is the foundation, when you come into a conversation, I find it always goes much, much better and has a better outcome. Well, if people want to find you and they want to work with you, they want a workshop, they want to know about the book, where can they find you?
Yes. So there are 2 websites. And can I just address this idea of making people feel a certain way?
Sure.
Before I give how to get a hold of me, because this is so important. There's so much pressure I've seen mothers putting on themselves my entire career to, make people feel a certain way, avoid feeling a certain way. And here's what I want to say about that. We are responsible for the energy we're bringing in the room. And when we're clear and when we're resting in joy as the rule and love as the rule, not the exception, we are creating an impact and a ripple that is immeasurably priceless. But I can't manipulate or control someone's free will or agency.
Oh, amen.
Or change how they feel, right? And you will never win trying to make sure you're making people feel how you think they should feel, meeting them where they are and staying in a place where you're resiliently and bravely feeling how you chose to feel, regardless of the circumstances. That's the game changer. So just wanted to flush that out a little bit, because it is such a pressure cooker for so many of us. But go to theunsilentwoman.com, RebeccahSilence.com. There are 2 websites. theunsilentwoman.com, RebeccahSilence.com, to check me out. There are free resources on both pages to get into my world and experience me. And all the goodness is available on either site. And follow me at Rebeccah Silence. And Rebeccah has the H, Rebeccah Silence. check me out.
Yeah, thank you again so much for coming. This is a woman I met once and did not forget her. She leaves an impression and an impact. So if you even give her a minute of your time, you are going to be more than touched. So thank you for giving your heart to us today and to our moms. I hope you heard something that'll serve you. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Resilient Mother Podcast. God, thank you for joining us today. Please don't forget to subscribe so we can share this message. We are a worldwide podcast with guests all around the world, and we want to continue to grow this community. You can find us on socials. You could also be a guest. Look for that link below if you'd be interested in being a guest on the podcast. If you know a sponsor or would like to be a sponsor, please reach out to me or Catherine as well.
Sure. We want you all on this journey. We want to hear your stories. We want to share your stories. We want to gain strength from each other because together we're stronger. And to never forget the blessing of being a mother and what we're creating. We're creating the future every single day of our lives. So get on this train with us and let's do this thing, moms.
I believe in you. Believe in yourself. God bless. And we'll see you around. Take care.